My name is Julia Martinez, 41 years old, and 3 days after our mother's funeral, my sister Diane texted me a photo of the new lock she'd installed on Mom's house with the message, "It's mine now. Don't come back." She'd thrown my childhood photos onto the curb, changed the security code, and told the neighbors I was unstable and dangerous. What she didn't know was that I'd been paying the mortgage on that house for 6 years. Every single month, $2,847 direct from my checking account, while she told everyone Mom owned it free and clear. When your sister steals a house you've been secretly saving, do you call the police immediately? Or do you let her enjoy 5 days of victory before the county assessor arrives with eviction papers? Let me take you back to 2018 when this really started. Mom was 72 years old, living in the same 3-bedroom Craftsman in Pasadena, California, the house Dad thought was paid off actually had $340,000 remaining on the mortgage. Monthly payment, $2,047. Mom's income, $1,800 a month from Social Security. She called me crying in November 2018. "Julia, I don't know what to do. The bank sent a letter. They're going to foreclose. I can't afford the payments. I'm going to lose the house." I was living in San Diego at the time, working as a senior software engineer at a biotech company, making $185,000 a year. Single, no kids. Living in a rent-controlled apartment I'd had since grad school. I had savings. I had options. "Mom, I'll take care of it," I said. "Don't worry. I can't ask you to." "You're not asking. I'm offering. Let me handle it." I called the bank the next day, spoke to a loan officer named Martin Chen who explained the situation. Mom was 4 months behind, foreclosure proceedings had started, and she'd need to bring the account current immediately. $11,388 plus fees. Then she'd need to prove she could make future payments. "What if I make the payments?" I asked. "Are you on the loan?" "But I can set up automatic transfers from my account." "That works," Martin said. "As long as the payments are made, the bank doesn't care where the money comes from." I paid the back payments that day, set up automatic monthly transfers for $2,147, and I didn't tell anyone. Here's why. My sister Diane was 45 years old, twice divorced, currently living in Vegas working as a cocktail waitress at the Bellagio. She was beautiful, charming, and completely irresponsible with money. Every time she got into trouble, credit card debt, payday loans, eviction notices, she'd call Mom crying, and Mom would beg Dad to help. Dad always helped. He paid off her credit cards 3 times, paid her rent when she got evicted, paid for her lawyer when she got the DUI. After Dad died, Diane started calling Mom directly. "I need $5,000 for rent. I need $2,000 for my car payment. I need $800 for a dental emergency." Mom would send whatever she had, draining her tiny Social Security check, eating ramen noodles for dinner so Diane could maintain her lifestyle. If Diane knew I was paying the mortgage, she'd tell Mom to stop worrying about the house and send her more money. Or worse, she'd demand I send money directly to her instead. So I said nothing. I just paid the mortgage every month, quietly, and let Mom believe she was somehow managing. No. I also started paying the property taxes and the homeowner's insurance, and when the furnace died in 2020, I paid for the replacement. When the roof needed work in 2022, I paid for that too. Total over 6 years, $247,000 in mortgage payments, plus another $68,000 in taxes, insurance, and repairs. Mom never asked where the money was coming from. I think she convinced herself that Dad had left some hidden account, or that Social Security was somehow covering it. She was declining by then. Mild dementia, confusion about dates and finances. She'd call me and ask when Dad was coming home. I'd gently remind her he'd passed, and she'd cry like it was the first time hearing it. Diane visited maybe 3 times in those 6 years, always when she needed money. Never for holidays, never for Mom's birthday. She'd show up, take Mom to lunch, come back with signed checks, and disappear for another 8 months. I visited every other weekend, made sure Mom had groceries, took her to doctor's appointments, organized her medications, fixed things around the house. I also started quietly gathering documents, mortgage statements showing my bank account as payment source, property tax receipts in my name, insurance policies I'd purchased, contractor invoices for repairs I'd funded. I scanned everything, backed it up in 3 places, and kept the originals in a fireproof safe. Mom died on a Tuesday in September, peaceful in her sleep. I found her when I came for my usual weekend visit. Called 911, called the funeral home, called Diane. Diane arrived 2 days later, flying in from Vegas with her current boyfriend, a guy named Rick who wore too much cologne and kept asking about Mom's estate. At the funeral, Diane cried loudly, telling everyone what a devoted daughter she'd been, how she'd worried about Mom constantly, how heartbroken she was. After the service, we went back to Mom's house. Diane immediately started going through rooms like she was taking inventory. "I'll take the china cabinet," she announced, "and the dining table. Oh, and Mom's jewelry. Rick, start loading the car." "Diane, we need to go through probate first," I said. "We can't just take things." "Mom would want me to have these," she said, wrapping Mom's good dishes in newspaper. "Besides, I'm the oldest. I get first choice." "That's not how it works." She stopped, turned to look at me. "Julia, you have your life in San Diego, your fancy tech job, your money. I have nothing. Mom knew that. She'd want me to have the house." "The house?" "Obviously. Where else am I going to live? I can't afford Vegas anymore. I'll move back here, sell Mom's stuff, get a fresh start." She smiled like it was already decided. "You understand, right? You don't need it." "Did Mom leave a will?" "Doesn't matter," Diane said. "California law says assets get split between children, but I need the house more than you do, and you can afford to buy out my half. So really, I should just keep it, and we call it even." "That's not how any of this works." "We'll figure it out," she said dismissively, already moving toward Mom's bedroom. I left that night, drove back to San Diego, waited. 3 days later, I got the text. Photo of new locks. "House is mine now. Don't come back. Already talked to a lawyer. You abandoned Mom for years while I took care of her. I'm keeping the house. Try to fight it and I'll drag you through court." I stared at my phone for a full minute. Then I called my attorney, Michael Park, a real estate lawyer I'd worked with when buying investment properties. "Michael, my sister just stole a house. Explain." I explained everything. The mortgage payments, the 6 years of documentation, the texts, the locks. "Julia, this is actually simple. You have proof you've been paying the mortgage, taxes, and insurance for 6 years. In California, that gives you a strong claim of ownership through equitable interest, regardless of whose name is on the deed. Your sister is currently trespassing in a house she doesn't own and can't afford. What do I do? Let me make some calls. Don't engage with her. Just wait." 5 days after Diane changed the locks, I was at my desk in San Diego when my phone rang. Unknown number. "Ms. Martinez, this is Officer Patricia Gomez with the Pasadena Police Department. We're at 847 Maple Street with the County Assessor's Office. There's a situation regarding property ownership. Can you come to Pasadena today?" "I'll be there in 2 hours." I drove up the 5 freeway doing 85, my heart pounding. When I pulled up to Mom's house, there were 2 police cars in the driveway, a county vehicle at the curb, and Diane standing on the front porch in Mom's bathrobe, screaming at a woman in a pantsuit. I got out of my car. Officer Gomez approached me. "Ms. Julia Martinez?" "That's me." "Can you provide identification and proof of residence?" I handed her my driver's license and a folder Michael had prepared. Mortgage payment records, property tax receipts, insurance policies, bank statements showing 6 years of 2,847 monthly transfers, contractor invoices, everything. Officer Gomez reviewed the documents, then handed them to the woman in the pantsuit. Laura Chen, county assessor. Laura spent 10 minutes reading through everything while Diane screamed from the porch. That's fake! She's lying! This is my mother's house! I'm the daughter! Laura looked up. Ma'am, these are official bank records and county documents. They show Ms. Julia Martinez has been paying the mortgage, property taxes, and insurance on this property for 6 years. The payment records are verified through Wells Fargo and the Los Angeles County Tax Collector's Office. So what? Diane shrieked. It's still my mom's house. I'm entitled to it. Actually, Laura said calmly, that's not how it works. In California, when someone pays the mortgage and expenses on a property for an extended period, they can establish equitable ownership interest regardless of whose name is on the deed. Ms. Julia Martinez has a legal claim to this property. You, she pointed at Diane. Change the locks on a house you have no legal right to occupy. That's trespassing. Diane's face went from red to white. You can't. I'm family. Officer Gomez stepped forward. Ma'am, do you have documentation showing you have any financial interest in this property? I'm the oldest daughter. Mom would have wanted. That's not documentation. Do you have proof you've paid any expenses related to this property? Mortgage, taxes, insurance, repairs? Diane's mouth opened and closed. I visited Mom. I took care of her. When? I said quietly. Everyone turned to look at me. When did you visit, Diane? Because I was here every other weekend for 6 years. I took her to doctor's appointments, bought her groceries, fixed her toilet when it leaked, replaced her furnace. You came 3 times. 3 times in 6 years. And every time, you left with checks. That's a lie. I have Mom's bank statements, I said. Every check she wrote you. $5,000 in January 2019, $3,200 in August 2020, $4,500 in March 2022. Want me to keep going? Diane stumbled backward. Rick, her boyfriend, was already backing toward his car. Laura Chen pulled out another document. Ms. Diane Martinez, I also have a record here showing that this property was refinanced twice between 2012 and 2014 to pay off debts in your name. The original loan was used to cover $85,000 in credit card debt and legal fees related to a DUI conviction in Los Angeles County. Is that accurate? Diane's voice came out as a whisper. Dad said he'd handle it. Your father refinanced his house, twice, to pay your debts. That put your mother in a position where she couldn't afford the mortgage after he died. Your sister has been covering those payments ever since. Payments that exist because of your debts. The silence was devastating. Officer Gomez pulled out a notepad. Ms. Diane Martinez, you have 2 options. You can leave the property voluntarily right now, or we can arrest you for trespassing and breaking and entering. Your choice. This is insane. You can't just kick me out. Actually, we can, Laura said. This property belongs to Julia Martinez by right of equitable ownership, established through continuous financial maintenance. You have no legal claim. If you attempt to remain on the property or return without permission, you will be arrested. Rick was already in his car, engine running. Diane looked at him, at the police, at me. You're really going to do this? Kick your own sister out? You changed the locks on a house I've been paying for, I said. You threw my childhood photos in the trash. You texted me not to come back. You made your choice, Diane. I'm just enforcing reality. I have nowhere to go. You have a job in Vegas, an apartment, a life. Go back to it. She grabbed a bag from inside. I saw she'd already packed Mom's jewelry, the good silver, some cash from Mom's emergency drawer. Officer Gomez made her empty the bag. The jewelry and silver went into evidence bags. The cash, too. That's mine, Diane screamed. It's estate property, Officer Gomez said. It stays until probate is settled. Diane left in Rick's car, still screaming out the window about lawyers and lawsuits and how I'd pay for this. The police stayed for another hour, documenting everything, taking my statement, changing the locks again with new keys that only I had. When everyone finally left, I stood alone in Mom's house. The house I'd been saving for 6 years. The house Diane had tried to steal in less than a week. I walked through the rooms slowly. Mom's bedroom still smelled like her lavender lotion. The kitchen still had her coffee mug in the dish drainer. The living room still had photos of me and Diane as kids, back when we were actually sisters instead of strangers fighting over inheritance. I sat on the couch and cried for the first time since Mom died. Not because of the house, because of what we'd become. Diane did hire a lawyer, filed a petition claiming the house should be split 50-50 as part of Mom's estate. My attorney Michael filed a counter-petition with all my documentation, plus a claim for reimbursement of the $315,000 I'd spent maintaining the property. The probate hearing was in December. Judge Sandra Morrison reviewed everything: mortgage records, payment histories, tax documents, contractor invoices, bank statements. She also reviewed Dad's refinancing records showing he'd borrowed against the house to pay Diane's debts. "Let me make sure I understand this correctly," Judge Morrison said, looking at Diane's attorney. "Your client is claiming she deserves half of a house that she never paid for, that her sister maintained for 6 years, and that only still exists because her sister prevented foreclosure after their father refinanced it twice to cover your client's debts." Diane's attorney shifted uncomfortably. "Your Honor, blood relation entitles—" "Blood relation doesn't entitle anyone to property they didn't pay for," Judge Morrison said sharply. "Ms. Julia Martinez has established clear, equitable ownership through consistent financial maintenance of this property." Diane stood. "Your Honor, I'm a single mother working in hospitality." "You have no children," the judge interrupted, reading from the file. "You're currently employed at the Bellagio in Las Vegas, earning approximately $65,000 annually, including tips. You have $127,000 in outstanding debt across 11 credit cards and 2 payday loans. You were evicted from your apartment in August for non-payment of rent. Is that accurate?" "I've had some difficulties." "Ms. Martinez," the judge said, her voice softening slightly, "I'm going to give you some advice. Stop trying to take things that don't belong to you. Your sister saved your mother's house while you were accumulating debt in another state. She has legal and equitable claim to this property. My ruling is as follows. The property at 847 Maple Street is awarded to Julia Martinez as sole owner. Diane Martinez's petition is denied. Julia Martinez's claim for reimbursement of expenses is granted, to be paid from any remaining estate assets. Mom's estate had $23,000 in savings. I got it all. Diane got nothing. She tried calling after the hearing. I didn't answer. She sent emails. I blocked her address. She showed up at my apartment in San Diego once. I called the police. She hasn't tried again. I sold Mom's house 6 months later for $680,000. Paid off the remaining mortgage. Walked away with $415,000 profit after expenses. I used part of it to buy a condo in La Jolla with an ocean view. Donated $50,000 to the Alzheimer's Association in Mom's name. Put the rest in investments. Last week, I got a letter forwarded from Mom's old address. Diane's handwriting, no return address. "Julia, I'm sorry for everything. I was desperate and made bad choices. I'm in therapy now, working on myself. I'm staying with a friend in Henderson and trying to get my life together. I'm not asking for money or forgiveness. I just wanted you to know I understand what I did was wrong. You were always the good daughter, the one who did everything right. I was jealous. I'm sorry." Diane. I read it 3 times. Thought about calling her. Thought about forgiving her. Thought about the sister I used to have, before Dad's money and Mom's dementia and the house turned us into enemies. Then I put the letter in a drawer and went back to my life. Because here's what I learned. You can't save people who don't want to be saved. You can't make someone responsible who's spent their whole life avoiding responsibility. And you can't let guilt over shared DNA destroy the life you've built. I paid $315,000 over 6 years to save Mom's house. Diane showed up after Mom died and tried to take it in 3 days. That tells you everything you need to know about who we are. She's my sister, but the house was mine. And sometimes that's all that matters.